Alright folks, welcome back to game 3 here. We're going to have Joey's top lane Emporium on the blue side going up against TD2, the U Technicality on the red side. I'm HS0. I'm here with 30 and U Tech.
Hello. So we got another 0-1 versus 1-0 matchup here. Gonna see if TD2 can answer back and get it into that first place standing with Fizz and Jace from last game. They looked very good last week.
Yeah, they did.
And I was about to say, Joey's top lane Emporium didn't look good because they definitely had the lead in their last week's match.
They were atrocious last week. They have a lot of questions that need to be answered going into today's game if they want to prove they can hang with anybody else in the league. I'm curious to see how they start that with the draft.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's the one weak spot for this team. I don't know if there is sort of a brilliant mind on this team that can draft efficiently and smartly against enemy teams. I thought I gotta give them a little bit of credit last week, and it might have been all Mad Cow Show that I might be remembering, but I think they had their moments, but as far as teamwork goes, this team is a disaster, and that's really what's going to win you games in organized play. So I mean, I think they have some lanes. Some of these lanes can do well on their own against other SBL lanes, but you really have to transition from there into a mid game and know what to do.
That we saw two of these lanes on JTLE did start well, especially Mad Cow, and then they just didn't know what to do once things were going well.
Yeah,
at all.
Exactly.
I mean, it was very tough to watch. So I'm hoping we see something a lot better out of them this week, because we saw they clearly have the potential to get things started.
Yeah, and to start off the bans here, Jinx ban. Thank the Lord, Salvo getting that Jinx taken away. Jinx is actually coming back in a really big way. She received a small bug either this patch or last patch, and rumors you might see Jinx at your next local Worlds championship. Regardless, even if Jinx wasn't a good champ, Salvo was still gonna be Jinx, and he will go off every game that he gets in.
Yeah, Salvo is very adamant about that, and he's also very happy when he draws that ban, because even if Salvo's not winning, which he so far this season has, just getting the Jinx ban is almost all that matters to him. And coming out of TD2, we've got two bans targeted at Mad Cow, the Mordekaiser and the Darius. Champions you might not see a lot of these days, but champions he puts a lot of games into.
And they actually took away the Talia from Thor, who had, out of his entire team, the best showing in my opinion. And I mean, he's very good at it. So, and Talia can really shape and form how the mid game goes. Thor has plenty of champions to pack up to. Aside from Talia here, first pick overall was going to be Braum, going over to Scotchnaut in that support role, and answered back with a first rotation Jhin and Shen for TD2.
Yeah, not too surprised with any of these picks. Maybe a little surprised with the Jhin. It's not something Salvo's played competitively much yet. I don't think he played it at all with Waifu Superstar last season, but it is something I know he's been practicing a lot. And obviously, anyone who watches the LCS knows Jhin. It works right now. It really does.
Yeah,
you sit back, you look at where the team fight's going to start, then you hop over to the next lane. You casually drop your ult into the team fight and pick up all 4 of the kills. It's fun. Everyone loves it.
Yeah, it really does seem odd for someone like Salvo to play Jhin. In the past, I mean, he has Jinx on his resume, but for the most part, he plays very auto attack heavy, late game scaling champions. A lot of consistent, sustained damage, and Jhin isn't that. You really have to be aware when you have to reload. Your damage really comes in bursts. It's not sustained over the fight. He has an alright late game, but not as good as the champions maybe Salvo used to playing. He's really more of a utility carry, and that's really what's big right now in the meta.
Yeah, it's awful. I hate it.
Top lane though, top lane Emporium, answering back with the Elise jungle for Ghost, and Sivir taken very late in this draft. For someone who, I love Sivir, but this, yeah, second rotation, Albino Joe picking up that Sivir for his Sivir comp.
Yeah, I like that JTLE's go with something a little different in the top lane. They ran the Trundle Caitlyn last week. They honestly just didn't know what to do with that lane. So go with something a little easier to conceptualize. Sivir and Braum. What is Sivir gonna do? Press R, yell to fight. What's Braum gonna do? Shield somebody, block some damage, maybe knock some dudes up. You know, leave 9 months later. It's a great life, and it's easy to execute.
Yeah. Well, man, we have a lot to dissect here.
I don't know what Glenn does.
Same.
Let's just not look it up. Let's just figure this out as we go.
Okay. I actually, before we get to that, I want to talk about Thermidor picking up the Shyvana, and this was almost banned every game last regular season against Thermidor. That's how good he is in the champion, or maybe that's, I guess, how good Shyvana was last season. Very easy champion to snowball on and get really, really big, do tons of damage. However, falls sort of down in the tier list because of lack of CC. It is supplemented by a lot, though. We got Squecht on the Morgana, Coffee playing the Shen top lane.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably one of the better comps you could throw Thermidor Shyvana into. I actually really like the way it fits into that.
Me too. There's a lot of ways for Thermidor to be the playmaker, but there's also ways for them to just sort of peel back and protect Salvo while he slowly gets over his damage, or gets his damage down. A lot of pick potential too. You could actually just open up with Curtain Call into Ahri taunts, same with Shen taunts and bindings from Morg.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways I can see TD2 getting picks. There's honestly I just really like TD2's comp because I can see them playing the game out in almost any way. Do they want a 1-3-1? Sure, it'll work. Do they want a 5v5? Sure, it'll work. I mean, if they 1-3-1, like, which two do they want the split push? They have 3 options. Like, I can see them winning early, I can see them winning late, I can see them just going for picks.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's try to dissect these last 2 picks. For Joey's top lane Emporium, it's going to be Malzahar in the mid lane for Thor, and Kled for Mad Cow in the top lane. I can only imagine Mad Cow picked Kled up right when he was released, and now he's a god on it, and he's now just going to style on everyone in this game, including us, because none of us know what he does.
He has a move that makes him go really fast.
He does, yes, his ultimate.
And, like, anyone around him. It's kind of like a Sivir ult, I think.
Yeah, wow, oh, wait.
So, like, this is actually going to be Sonic the Hedgehog comp that they're running.
No, you needed a Rammus jungle in that.
That's true. Somebody go call Ghost up. He's a boosted animal.
No, Ghost last week he played Zac, if I recall correctly, and the last week's composition for Top Lane Emporium, I don't think it was very good. It had a lack of damage, too much tankiness, too much CC that really couldn't follow up with any damage. This week, opting for something a little more damage heavy in the jungle, a much better early game as well in the Elise. We'll see how he really flexes up against arguably the best jungler, one of the best junglers in the league. I almost just triggered Splinter with that statement.
You definitely triggered Splinter. Because it's not about what you said, it's about what you believe.
Oh.
And Master Splinter wants everyone to believe he's the best. Because if we say it, he can know we're trolling. But if you actually, in like the deep subconscious of your mind, think like, yeah, Thermidor, he's the best. And Wes now knows that.
Shit.
And the only way Wes can change that is to shit on your team.
Yeah.
And if you're not in Twitch chat currently, I have the great news that we might have a moderately lengthy pause coming in, as Albino Joe did get a bug splat, and his client is currently saying it is corrupted and doing the auto repair.
Yeah, I don't know what has happened in the past. however many months since I started playing this game again. But this client, it almost like it has terminal cancer, and it's like slowly dying on everyone's computer because this same bug actually happened to me last night in a normal game. I just loaded into loading screen, and then when the loading screen was done, I bug splatted, and then I had to repair the client. I don't know what. And there's like so many people have probably experienced this. Like sometimes when you go to the crafting button in your client, especially like after a game, they'll just crash. Then why not? It just basically crashes whenever it wants to.
Yep, that's a good summary of League of Legends in 2016.
Yeah, waiting for the new client. It does look really nice. New client's very snazzy. I think you can sign up for alpha if anyone's actually interested in helping test the new client. But while we're on this loading screen here, I'm gonna check out Wall next to see if there's anything, any cool runes or mastery adaptations here. But we kind of talked about what's their team name? TD2 Steam Comp. What do you think of Joey's top lane for him? Did this draft improve from last week?
I feel like I can't give a strong opinion on it because I don't know exactly how Kled fits in. If he's like how his damage looks in late game or whatnot. I think this comp looks fine from what I do understand of Kled. It's more of there's gonna be, I feel, a lot on Scotchnaut in this game. He's gonna need to get some good ults because he's the big kind of engage CC once they move speed in. Obviously, they have Elise and Thor can both look for individual picks, but they're going to need a big ult out of Scotchnaut to kind of set up all the AoE damage that's going to go out in the fights.
Yeah, but I hope he doesn't actually use it as the first engage because Braum ult was never meant to be that, and I think what they might want to try to do is maybe try to bait Thermidor and going in, or at least RA, or having someone on the enemy team going in, and then using the Braum ult to sort of create this slow zone.
But you want JTLE to kite back, wait for TD2 to overextend, and then turn and re-engage?
Yeah.
Who the hell is going to shot call them to do that?
I don't know who. I don't think anyone's going to do it. I'm just telling you how to play the comp.
You are now undoubtedly the best shot caller in the SBL, okay? And even you don't try to pull off the kite comps because you know SBL players aren't good enough to kite properly, so you just pick Sivir and do the forward comp yourself. There's no way these guys will be able to do the kiting.
Oh god, you got me. That's so true. There's no way. I'm just saying, if they want to play this composition correctly, it is actually good at cutting back and abusing Thermidor or Crystallize going in.
I feel like when you have two move speeds, you might as well just go forward, though. I'm really curious to see what they do, because clearly they know more about playing around with Kled than we do.
Yeah, but if they really were trying to build that composition, they didn't pick the right jungler or mid laner for it. Well, actually, the jungler's fine. You're just leaving it up to Ghost to land the Cocoon. But there's so many better mid laners that would have been better. I.e. Lysandra, that was just picked last game. Starting the fight off with a Malzahar ult is sometimes very awkward and can be abused. I don't know. I'm really, well, there's two things. I'm looking forward to Scotch's support play because I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that this was a smooth transition into the support role.
Yeah, I think of all the people on JTLE, Scotchnaut's the one I have the most questions about because, I mean, he kind of already had a poor last season in the top lane, and now he's switching roles, and in week one it didn't really look good. And I think we all have a lot of questions about can Scotchnaut actually play another role or not.
Yeah. I think this game specifically will be a little bit easier for him to show off some of his support prowess. Trundle support is actually deceptively kind of hard to get down correctly.
Yeah,
it seems really easy. It seems really easy because what, you just like pillar and you put down your frozen zone, you just charge at him, right? It's really nuanced in how you do that because you don't have top lane or jungle income. but you're
Yeah,
still
cool.
expected to be the front line.
I agree. I think Trundle support is one of the hardest supports in the game to play because if you don't do it right, everything you do makes you look like a complete and utter idiot.
Yeah, it does.
But we are in.
Yeah.
God bless Riot for giving us permission to play this custom game.
Oh man, thanks, Space Riot. A lot of pings going out for both of these teams, and they are staying as 5-man packs. Man, I really hope they just charge at each other.
That would be
The most entertaining thing.
That would be really fun because we
Yeah.
could have a snare and a cocoon, and we could just see like 2 picks immediately. Oh man, I don't think it's gonna happen because JTLE are gonna walk into a bunch of wards here. This feels like something JTLE would do. Go for a hard invade without dropping any vision of their own.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like that. And yeah, so TD2, they have full knowledge of this right now. They know exactly where they're coming. They see Scotch and he's really far out ahead. What the hell? They don't wait on this for so long, and they go in actually on the coffee. They're not able to pick up any kills now. Scotch has to flash out. What?
TD2 actually got too greedy there. They wanted to go for the really big play and get a bunch of kills, and so they were worried about spreading their damage out instead of actually sticking. Oh man,
That's potentially really big. This back is going to be really delayed.
Yeah,
he's going to have to use the TP.
Teleport now. Yeah, if they had just committed to picking the first person to step into that bush, they could have killed Scotch, got first blood, and it would have been great. Instead, TD2 fuck up big time and don't get anybody. And surprisingly, only 1 flash blown and all that too, which was Scotch not.
Yeah, and a heal down for Albino Joe as well, but that's really not the end of the world, especially when you're playing Civ or Braum.
Yeah, it's 3 summoners to 1 ultimately traded, so I mean it is something, but that should have been a guaranteed first blood.
Yeah, that was very awkward, and Scott's getting hit by that binding there. Resquek still has the exhaust there, so they potentially could actually just look for a kill on the Scotch. If he plays a little too far forward, they could just choose to burst him down, and he doesn't have E-skilled yet. I don't know when he let's I guess that's gonna be the true test. I'm gonna see which ability he skills second here.
In other news, Thermidor starting off with his own red into the enemy blue, and that should be unseen by JTLE here.
Yep. Final Joe with a good spell shield block there, and yeah, Thermidor with a very greedy start, and he's gonna get it. Picking up the scuttle on the top side river here, pinged out. Now they actually dropped a ward over, so they know exactly where Ghost is right now in this lead.
So, I know it's not as bad as it used to be, but getting a buff stolen, how bad is that on a jungler in 2016?
It depends on the jungler. Jungling has evolved a lot since the early days of like season 1 or 2, or maybe even 3, where actually getting triple buffs like that is just like the end of your game. Nowadays, there's a lot of different routes you can do in the jungle where you can just do modified full clears and then just back, and then just get more jungling items. So either getting the Hunter's Talisman if you had Hunter's Machete or vice versa. It's pretty alright. The thing is, though, it depends on what type of jungler you're playing. Elise, that actually hurts a lot, especially the blue buff getting taken away, because the ideal gank route there was just the Stone Bros red-blue, and then maybe potentially seeing for a gank mid or top, and now that option's totally out of the water. And it's a huge... Look at Thermidor, he's just cruising away, he's just doing the full clear like he always does on Shyvana. He's just trying to get that Blood Razor? Power? Whatever it's called. But Ghost pays a visit to the mid lane. He's gonna get a ton of damage onto Crystallize. Has to flash out of the Malzahar Q, and he will save his life for now.
Yeah, I actually thought that was gonna be a kill.
Yeah, it looks really good here. Unbreakable. Not able to block the binding action, Joe. Bottom lane is trading really back and forth here, but the 4th shot lands onto Joe, and Joe!
That was a panic flash.
That was the most panic flash I've ever seen on a flying player. Holy crap. He knew he got hit by the binding 3 seconds ago.
But he panicked.
Yeah, dude. We all get caught up in the heat heat of things, man. Wait, I gotta. What is Mal's hierarchy called?
Evaluating the whole of that bot trade, a nice win for the TD2 bot lane. They're going to come out with a bit more health, and obviously the summoners. But here comes Thermidor into the top lane behind Mad Cow.
Yeah, no red buff though, but the taunt landed, I think. Mad Cow tried to do some kind of hop ability over the wall. I don't know if he... Can he do that?
I don't know. He tried.
He tried. If anything, it like almost kind of juked them out because I feel like they saw that happen and they're like, oh, he's probably gonna go away over the wall. He didn't though. I don't know. That was weird. Binding Lance Spell Shield blocks the Jin W, so he stays alive for now. Unbreakable is actually gonna block that last shot there coming in from Salvo. So very clutch shield there from Scotch. And now Albino Joe gets hit again by the binding, and he's on top of the Tormented Soil, and that's gonna be first blood going over to Squatch.
So, can we just take a second to appreciate how awful the flash that was on the Salvo a moment before?
Yeah, that was also pretty bad. Not as bad as Joey's, but it
pays off. Yeah. It pays off. They get the first blood, even though Salvo misses a easy W to secure the kill himself, and Squatch ends up taking it. But hey, first blood's first blood. And that's going to give them a nice EXP advantage for Salvo in the bot lane, which means they might have a chance to make a level 6 versus 5 play in a minute or two here.
Yeah. So I guess I just noticed the two players that are in here. We got Mad Cow, obviously, but we also have Mr. Coffee, who a lot of people going into the season thought was definitely on the bottom half of top laners. What do you think about this matchup? Right now, is Coffee... I mean, he's playing Shen, right? I mean, this is a champion that he has practiced a lot. It was actually banned last week because people saw that he was spamming it in match history.
I'm still worried about Coffee's game sense. He just gave Mad Cow a free lane freeze for really no reason other than potentially being really scared of Ghost. And that hurts because Coffee is going to go from down like a wave to like down 3 waves in that top lane because Mad Cow froze so hard up there.
Yeah.
And we saw last week that Mad Cow was able to really kind of take leads and explode them in the laning phase, so
it's kind of happening.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That's what happens when you don't shove the tower. They just get for free like a 2 full wave advantage. That's a kill. Mr. Coffee essentially just gave up a kill.
Oh, this is so smart. The Cocoon into Malzahar ultimate, and Thermidor is extremely low, but he flashes away Shen. He's right there, but he channels the ult anyway, and he gets the shield down. He's gonna survive a back out. He's coming in with the Claydol, and he picks up the kill on the Thermidor. Coffee with a flash over into Rip Herald Pit. He will go to mid lane safely here, but what a smart play out of top lane Emporium there.
I loved that. That was well set up, well executed, and they get a kill onto their most important member, Mad Cow 457 in the top lane on Kled. And just like that, now Mad Cow is up about 750 gold on Mr. Coffee. That's a huge lead in 8.5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so good because you actually punish what I think might be actually just the Thermidor's weakness. This is his greed, and he plays these very farm-heavy junglers. He already took away your first blue buff. He has it timed. I mean, the game times it for you now. Thanks, Riot. But you knew like clockwork he was going to be back there, and not only did they get the kill on Mad Cow, like you said, but you still get assist gold on your jungler mid, which are going to like that. And Thor actually picking up that blue buff, not going over to Ghost. It's going to be an even easier mid lane matchup right now for Thor.
Albino Joe gonna get chunked out pretty good there in the bot lane. This is starting to look.
He's keeping up with CS though.
I'm surprised. Salvin or Sasquatch, it feels like they should have been able to turn this lead into something more substantial than just a support kill, but they haven't yet.
Yeah, Albino Joe, he is just now getting back both of his summoners. Same with Scotch. Scotch already has them. Oh, that was a solo dragon out of Thermidor and Shyvana there. Brahmo lands on the Salvo, but actually it's a little late there. Albino Joe, he had to flash out though to save his life. So, just a flash traded away.
Yeah.
Oh, Coffee, he's looking hurt right now. Mad Cow, he's going to pick up that solo kill, and now a rotation from top lane of Emporium, mid lane and jungle coming in and going to pick up the kill on Salvo. This is without a doubt. Oh, but Dragon was already taken away. Ah!
Yeah, no, and that is a Mountain Dragon for TD2. So, pretty solid Dragon to have. See what they do with that later. But yeah, we're just seeing, this is the SBL. At any given time, you can have a team that just starts snowballing on small skirmishes or, like, laning phase. And that is currently what's happening for JTLE. Mad Cow is now up 1,200 gold on Mr. Coffee. That is 150% of Mr. Coffee's gold in Mad Cow's inventory. At 10 minutes.
Yeah, that is definitely one way to put that. Just the raw numbers.
Definitely held out in that top lane a lot longer last week than Mr. Coffee currently is, and that's going to be really, really worrisome. Because just look at those items. That's so much attack damage that Mad Cow's sitting on right now. Mr. Coffee has a chain vest.
Yeah, and once again he goes into the top lane with no kind of sustain, no health pots. He'd never bought a corrupting potion, which is probably not what you buy on Shin anyway. But just to not even bring some health pots into the lane. But here we are in mid lane. Crystallize uses the Spirit Rush. Binding goes wide, but it's gonna land it with the charm onto Thor, and he's just gonna pick up the kill straight up. Shen is now in the fight, but not gonna do much against Mad Cow as he roamed mid and picked up a kill onto Sasquatch. A 1-for-1 trade. Mad Cow getting even bigger. 3-0 right now for him.
Yeah, I feel like JTLE will happily take that. This is a big week for Mad Cow too. This is kind of a redemption week for him. He got huge last week and he showed that he didn't know what to do with it. And this week we're gonna see if that's still the problem or not for him. Because at this point, I mean, he should carry this game. He has no reason not to, if he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and I don't know much about Colette, but by the way he's building him right now and the way that I've seen some players build him, it is a champion that you are actually able to carry on. He is going for what looks like a Ravenous Hydra.
Yep.
Very early here. Man, what a weird champ.
He looks so happy riding on that little dinosaur. Like, that's the kind of chip that deserves to get that. Just look at him and, like, it feels like it's in character for him to get big and just start styling on his opponent.
Cledel launches into top lane, but not going to connect with Coffee. So far we have just 1,000 gold lead going over to top lane Emporium. So once again, they start off this game with a small lead, and they're good at doing that. Mad Cow is really good at doing that. What do they really do now? Thermidor, he now has a Blood Razor. They got the first dragon. They might have priority on the second one here.
Yeah, I think they need to either find a way to take a tower, which is going to be kind of hard before they currently have the gold, unless they go for a big dive play, or maybe just go and try to invade Thermidor's jungle. You know, shut him down in his own jungle, because Thermidor is getting big. We haven't really touched on this, but Thermidor's up about 800 gold on Ghost right now, which is hashtag just Thermidor things.
Yep. Yep, and he's only gonna get bigger. Locking down that scuttle. Dragon's up in a minute 30. It's gonna be an Ocean Drake. Thermidor's sweeping down into the bottom lane here. He's on a pink ward. I think they have a little idea, though, that he might be around the area. Binding lands on the Scotch Knot. Chained to a stun from Salvo. Now he's really low. Albino Joe pops a Siverall to speed him to safety. Ghost and Thor are both rotating down here into the mid lane.
Yeah, they have, Mad Cow actually is not sitting on teleport, so they can't go too crazy here, but Coffee would lose a lot if he joined in on anything down there. But
Salvo with the trap wall. That's I don't actually see that very often. That's really smart. That would have stopped that gank right in its tracks. Crystallize gets the free push in onto mid lane as Thor, like very characteristic of him, looking for a roam play. He doesn't have boots though yet, so it's a very slow roam play. But he has the complete Merlin on Khan. Same with same with Crystallize here. The same builds on both of these champions. And Ghost looking in a really bad spot, but it's a sneaky Jin gets the stun over the wall onto Ghost, and he has to flash out, but it might not be enough. Crystallize is going to be able to pick up the kill on the backside with Spirit Rush. Double kill for him so far, and now Thor and Albino Joe, they have to keep running away. The Shen ult is teleported, but the Malzahar dot is going to be enough to kill him. And so it's actually a 2-for-2 trade at the end of the day. Thermidor also going down in that fight.
Yeah, 2 for 2, but Mad Cow does take top tower and get the first brick while this is all going on. And they're not done.
Oh, Kled ult's going. Binding goes wide, and he's going in under Sasquatch, and he's going to easily pick him up. Oh my god, the damage. So yeah. This might be a Kled ban next week.
I mean, at some point, can you drop 3 bans on the guy? We Mordekaiser Darius ban, Kled ban. We saw him style with Nara last week. Mad Cow is looking like he's going to be a problem for opposing teams.
Yeah, that is for sure. And this will be a dragon going over the top lane of Orion here.
It's the water dragon, so not the best, not the worst.
Like, maybe someone told Mad Cow that you can tilt Sasquatch pretty easily. Just talk to him in game, and that's what it looks like is happening right now. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to revise my SS Boost to Friendship Power rankings to just put them all in last because they all tilt. Alright, so this gold lead really exploded in the last few minutes here, looking at about 2,200 in favor of JTLE.
Yeah.
Most of that on the Mad Cow, who is up, Jesus Christ, he's up 2,500 gold on Mr. Coffee.
I think that I don't know the specifics, but I think this might be the biggest lead top lane has had.
It's one of the biggest.
Yeah,
sure.
and I know they had small leads back and forth last week in a very back and forth game, but yeah, they've just taken a definitive lead in this one, and that's good to see. So I guess now we're gonna see how they flex into the mid game, whether they're just gonna ride on Mad Cow's back here on his little dinosaur to victory, or is maybe this bottom side of the map gonna get a little more love here. They've been looking for roams in the bot lane. There's been some good warding and some good river control out of Thermidor, so a lot of those ideas have been squashed. Thermidor gets the Braum passive knockdown on him. He's gonna get stunned. Albino Joe has the Sivir all popping. Siobhan ult over the wall to stay safe here. Riptail going over to... Oh my god.
A bad thing just got worse if you're TD2.
Oh man. Yeah, now
Because
5-man mid push coming into the top lane of Emporium. This is good. This is the proactivity that I think we all wanted to see out of them, and they're going to pick up that tower very easily. There's nothing TD2 could have done there to contest that, and really now it's all just the tier 1 bot tower for them to take, and they've taken out the outer ring. They might all just rotate down there and go for it right now. Kleddle's being channeled, and they're going to go real fast here through the enemy jungle, through the pink ward, and they're just going straight onto Thermidor under his own tower, and he's going to get deleted. Mad Cow unstoppable. Ghost 32 using the repel to dodge the Jin ultimate there, and wow, look at that play.
Yeah, TD2 is you technically getting wrecked right now. This is just, how do you stop Mad Cow? He's gigantic. I mean, that's your jungler. Your gigantic jungler who is up 1,000 gold on his opposing jungler. He's not safe under a tower.
Not when when Mad Cow is in the game right now on 5-0 Kled. No, I don't think anyone's safe under their own tower. I don't know the specifics on how that all works. I don't know if you can even stop that from happening. I think you can. I think it's not unstoppable. I think you actually can CC him out of it, but he goes so fast, and he can do it from such a far length. that's kind of hard to see coming.
Yeah, I'm honestly, if I'm TD2, I don't know what to do to stop him. At this point, you're just praying that he commits to pushing a lane, and you kind of just farm this out for a long time to kind of slow that gold lead.
Yeah, but if anything, they got to think of a game plan fast, and they have to start pushing in on at least one of these towers. I think they got to get some brick back into their gold pool here, and at least get one lane going. Maybe get Coffee. Maybe Coffee's just gonna freeze this lane if you can. It's not gonna freeze though; it's gonna push. I think that might be the best option right now for Coffee.
They need to find. I think they need to find ways just to get as much of the gold as possible onto Salvo and Thermidor, because those are the players that are going to carry if this goes late.
Oh, Crystallize looking pretty good right now too. 3-1 on this R8. Working on another needlessly large rod item. He might be someone to look to actually. Thermidor is gonna catch out Thor in his own jungle here. Melzahar ultimate popped onto him. Mad Cow is dominated. Salvo's already out of the fight. Thermidor tries to come in with the Shyvana ult to try to save his teammates, and Thor answers back. Double kill for him actually.
And that's gonna easily turn into this tower here.
Oh man, for a second there I thought those were 2 kills answered back. No, it's 3-10 for TD2, and there you go. There's that bot. Tier 1 tower I was just talking about, and now the outer ring is broken down. 5 members strong here in this bottom lane. They're just going to keep pushing here. They really have nothing to risk. Sure, they might trade their tier 1 top lane for this, but that is a very good trade for them at the end of the day. Cursalai is not able to answer anything mid lane. Well, actually, no, he's going to get mid tower for this as well. Is Kled ult down? Yeah, Kled ult's down. That'd be a perfect time to ult back in onto the mid there, but... Oh wait, so actually, I don't know. Is this a good trade?
That's a really awkward trade. It really depends on how they play around the pressure they've created. If I'm TD2, I probably ultimately like that trade because an even trade is better than a lost trade when you're this far behind. But they've really changed up kind of the pressure windows each team can create with that trade. So we'll see how they play around it to really determine what was the better side of that. We do have dragon spawning here. It is another water dragon, so I'm kind of surprised to see TD2 setting up so aggressively for this. I feel like they're currently risking a lot just for a water drake. And they might just be backing off, actually, so they might not be risking anything.
Yeah, Thermidor really wanted to get that scuttle, so they can have at least a little bit of river control and maybe go fast onto a pick here. But Zivir just popped, and now they're going strong. Kled is here for the fighting. Coffee a little too far out. He's going to be the first to get taken out of TD2. Crystallize has to flash out to save his life. Now for Squeck, Melzahar ult kills him, and it's 2 dead already for TD2. A third, and another kill going over to Thor.
And Thermidor going to bolt straight to the mid lane. He's going to try to just create some pressure here. He's going to at least force the Kled to stop pushing, so that's something. And he should be able to get out of this. He has plenty of space to work with here.
Mm-hmm. And they basically just got burned, just like you said before that. They're aggressively going for that dragon. They thought they had a catch there on... I think it was Scotchnaut on Braum, but it just took a little bit too long, and they're all grouped. Blue side, so they just Zivir ulted on him.
Coffee didn't even get a taunt off during that fight. He was the first actual death, and I mean he did literally nothing in that fight. And then it was easy for JTLE just to mow forward through everyone else that remained. And Mad Cow is only getting bigger. That gold lead now... He's up 4,000 gold. It doesn't stop.
I mean,
it doesn't stop.
The gold lead overall is like a little over 6.5K for top lane, so a lot of that is Mad Cow. To stress how important and how big he is right now on this Kled. Melzahar minions are going to do a lot to take this Baron, because top lane Emporium, they are not scared. They do this right in the open in front of TD2. Might be a little cause for concern here, but Ghost able to secure over that Baron. two members, Coffee and Thermidor, go over the Baron while trying to steal it in a last desperation attempt, but it won't be enough. Now Madcow, he's going in onto Salvo, and he will get taken out. Double kill for him, and now Crystallize, the last remaining member, he gets exhausted. The Gladel comes in, doesn't even matter. Another kill going over to Albino Joe, and this will most definitely will be an inhibitor down.
I really like that decision out of Thermidor to attempt the steal there, because they had to pull magic out of some way to have a chance of winning this game, even if it didn't work. And JTLE really executed well. For a second there, I thought they were going to just finish burning the Baron, but they pulled off at the right amount. They forced TD2 to come into the pit. The only thing they really did wrong was they probably burned Baron a little low, but Ghost won the smite off, so it didn't really matter. Because I believe Baron went down before Thermidor died. So
yeah,
that was kind of a misplay, but it didn't end up catching them. But now we've got a 10,000 gold lead. Baron Asher.
26 minutes, man. This is pretty absurd at this point. Actually, I mean, just on an initial glance, it looked like a really risky play out of the top lane, but they were smart and they backed off when Curtain Call was channeled. So I think they did basically, I mean, that was all really planned from the get-go. You're still kind of leaving it up for a 50-50, which some chalk callers might not appreciate.
Yeah, no, the more I think on this, they burned Baron a little too low. They definitely shouldn't have left that up to a 50-50 because they didn't have to.
Yeah.
But I think they were confident they would win the fight after people came into the pit, which Coffee came into the pit first, so they knew they'd get at least two there. There's a lot of nuance to that trade, but it worked out.
Yeah, and I guess they have such a huge lead. You don't ever want to give over a Baron, but like, let's say you do, you probably still kill 3 of them. So you could probably still take a power off it, even if they did get Baron on the other side. But
okay, I gotta ask a question. What is with the SBL and Zerat portal?
Dude, I
feel like I've seen quite a few of them last week and this week.
Coffee. Oh, dude, I don't know, dude. I would never build this item. I don't think it's good.
I miss it a little.
Back
like
really
I don't actually miss it because I hated playing the game then. But now that it's gone, like I wouldn't mind seeing it occasionally. But I feel like there's a lot of SBL players that have a hard-on for that item.
Yeah, I don't know what the reasoning is.
That's not a good item when you're behind. That's an awful item when you're this far behind, actually, because you're just making it harder to collect your own CS because you're pushing a lane when you need as much economy as possible to come to your side of the map.
Yep. Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, that it doesn't make sense in that use case. I could maybe see it if you had an inhib down and you just place a portal at your Nexus towers. Maybe. Just to really stem the bleeding, so maybe you could contest an objective and not have to worry about your base going down as fast. But I don't think 0/0 portal can actually stand toe-to-toe against an inhibitor down wave, a super minion. So,
there we go.
Yeah, Siverald is popped, and Coffee, he is a man. He taunts in, he's going super deep. Thermidor, Shyvana ults into 5 members of Joey's top lane Emporium, and still no one has gone down yet. But Albino Joey's going to pick up that first kill on the Resast squad. Now Madcow, he's going in onto the backline. Salvo has to flash out. The exhaust comes out from Scotch, and he's going deep. Ghost's going to finish up the last hit onto Salvo, and they will both trade their lives, though, as they go a little too far under Nexus towers. Charm goes wide, and they're looking for a kill onto Thor here. They got to play this one safe. Mr. Coffee, he's full health right now, and he will pick up the kill.
That was such insane greed out of JTLE. They didn't need to go so deep there. They could have just casually taken the inhibitor. They still got the inhibitor, but there was no reason for them to give them 3 kills. They are playing this like it's a drug normal game right at this point because they have such a lead.
Yeah. Coffee looking for the taunt on the Mad Cow, maybe trying to lock him up and punish the greed, but it will not happen. So yeah, I mean, exactly. The idea was great. Basically, you just need the Zipper ult and then just have some of your members play a little aggressive past the tower of the zone. But yeah, you don't need to go to Nexus towers to try to finish up kills like that. At the end of the day, though, it's still extending this gold lead even more as we approach the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, they're gonna pick up a Wind Dragon, their third of the game. They've got an inhibitor down, they've got another one open. The playbook is wide open for Emporium here.
They could just wait out the Baron, minute 40, take that and just end the game, or just 5 bottom, take 3 inhib, put Mad Cow top lane with TP. Actually, yeah, I mean, there's just, yeah, you're right.
There's really nothing that's a wrong play here because it's almost all guaranteed to work.
Now, as far as TD2 though, I mean, they gotta keep fighting, man. These are the games that really will, especially in the start of the season for SBL, test how your team handles pressure and see which of these teammates cracked. Which one of these teammates already said GG in voice comms. At this point, you just play it out. You might not expect to win, and that's fine. But you just try your hardest and hope the enemy team makes mistakes, because God know it,
or
teams will do it.
Or you plan to blow the entire thing up before week 3. You're going to put Salvo in the top lane on Nasus. Thermidor is getting benched. I mean, we talked about it before the season. We thought one of the problems with TD2 was they might have tilt problems. I can see this loss really getting to them because they've looked. I mean, obviously, Coffee's early game was the catalyst that started this game, but not a single person on TD2 knew what to do once Mad Cow got rolling. Crystallize definitely had the closest to a good game here.
Yeah, he did. He played pretty admirably. There might have been some opportunities where skill shots have missed, maybe a charm going wide that could have transitioned to another kill, but at that point I don't think it would have done much. And Thermidor, he's going in, and he's going to get immediately turned around on Malzahar all through the exhaust, and he goes down. And Salvo died somewhere in that. 3 members dead for TD2 already, and this is looking like a win going over to top of the Emporium for week 2 here.
Yeah, just overall, yeah, absolutely. Individual play across the board was much better than in week 1. They utilized the Mad Cow properly, and you know what they say, once you catch Mad Cow disease, it's fatal.
And they did, certainly, and yeah, I really couldn't agree more. All members of Top Lane Emporium played really well this week. And what I brought up earlier, when we were loading in, I wanted to see how Scotch would do, and I think Scotch, he's earning some more credibility on the support role.
He was much better this week. I was
I'm really
happy
give
for
props
him.
to him for that. But I think who did we talk to last week from the stand? No,
we didn't talk to anyone because they lost
so
last
we're
week.
bringing in Mad Cow.
I am currently trying to set that up, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
User was moved to your channel.
And there he is.
There he is.
Moved with no warning. I hope he's not AFK. Nope, that's the laugh of Victor. Okay, so Mr. Mad Cow. I'd actually like to start with something a little different than what we normally do in our interviews.
Alright.
I haven't watched the Champion Spotlight. Could you tell me what Kled does real quick?
Just kills everything.
Yeah, okay, well, shit, that's awesome. I'm picking him up.
He fights when he wants and kills what he wants.
So, let's take this a step back here. Going after last week, you, as on an individual level on Gnar versus Sword and Mrs. Swain, you had this like really phenomenal laning phase. You got to this huge lead, and then you really didn't know how to transition the lead that you had. And I'm sure, like most people in the SBL, you kind of hear the whispers of what people are saying. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Mad Cow is just a solo queue shitter. He has no idea how to properly play the game." So this week was not like that. You transitioned properly, very
True.
properly. Was like kind of showing up and proving to everyone that you knew what to do with the lead motivation for you going into this week. Did you feel like you had a point to prove?
Yeah, that, and I had not played Gnar in 2 months prior to that. I didn't expect to get triple banned last week.
And So knowing that you got triple ban this week, did you try to expand your champ pool?
Oh,
Knowing
yeah,
that's probably gonna be a common occurrence.
I had an extra 4 on the back burner.
Yeah, and I guess Kled is one of them, and it's a pretty good pick to have because most teams looking forward in the future will probably just ban it, no question, because they don't even have experience against it, so they don't even know how to counter it. So last week, another dominant laning phase is. I don't even know how to ask this question. Do you think you're the best top laner in the league?
Oh, I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good. It's hard to say yet. I haven't played against everyone.
Well, you're making a bold statement that you are, and you're showing it. That's what I mean. You're really popping off 11-0 and 6 this game. How does the team play around you? Do they really expect a lot out of you, or is there maybe equal love given to all sides of the map? It's not just like this big let's get mad cow super big show. Is there a lot of teamwork going into the mid game?
I mean, there's a lot of teamwork, and I mean, I think my team expects me to get fed, because that's generally what happens, or at least win lane, but I mean, I can't take all the credit for this win. But, overall, it's definitely the team, not just me.
Alright. I can't take all the credit for this win, but I should, is what I heard. So, yeah, I think that probably sums it all up. That was disgusting. I don't know how. I hope Mr. Coffee's okay. Congratulations, back out. That was a just very, very stellar performance.
Thank you,
folks. And yeah, that's going to wrap things up here for week 2. So thank you to everyone who tuned in. We'll see you next week for week 3, which the regular season will be more than halfway over after, which is pretty crazy. So
yeah. Hello.
no, I think cutting the stream with incomplete sentences is gonna be my new thing. 30.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna hope UTech doesn't leave me hanging and we're not still live. That would be just so awkward.
Yeah, I was wondering what